How does one prevent holiday baking disasters when the recipe is in Grandma's handwriting? There's something special about holiday baking, especially when it involves pulling out a recipe written in Grandma's own handwriting. But as cherished as those recipes are, they can also pose challenges. Handwritten notes might lack clarity, and vague measurements can lead to surprises that ruin our favorite treats. To prevent kitchen disasters while channeling those warm memories, it's essential to fully understand the recipe before diving in. Knowing the context behind Grandma's notes can illuminate her sometimes unconventional methods. This blog post will guide you through the common issues that arise and provide practical tips to help ensure your baking sessions are successful and enjoyable. By the end, you'll feel more confident tackling those treasured recipes without fear of a culinary mishap. Understanding Grandma's handwriting. Grandma's handwritten recipes are treasures filled with love and memories. However, they can also come with their own set of challenges. Understanding her unique handwriting is essential to avoid disaster in the kitchen. You might find her cursive elegant yet hard to read. Occasionally, it may include symbols or terms that you don't recognize. Let's break down how to navigate this delightful dilemma. Deciphering common abbreviations. Grandma likely used several abbreviations in her recipes. These shorthand notations may seem confusing at first, but once you understand them, baking becomes much easier. Here are some common ones you might encounter. 1. TSP teaspoon. This is a standard measurement for small quantities. 2. Tablespoon tablespoon. Another widely used measurement, usually for a larger amount than a teaspoon. 3. C-cup. A fundamental measurement for both dry and liquid ingredients. 4. Oz-ounce. Often used for ingredients like chocolate or butter. 5. PT pint. Typically used for liquids like milk or cream. 6. QT quart. A larger liquid measurement with 2 pints in a quart. Be aware of any unique abbreviations specific to your grandma's recipes. If you see something unusual, don't hesitate to ask family members if they remember what it means. Interpreting unusual measurements. Handwritten recipes often use old-fashioned measurements that can be hard to translate into today's standards. For instance, you might find terms like a handful, a pinch, or a teacup. Here's how to convert some of those quirky measurements. 1. Teacup. Usually holds about 3/4 of a cup. 1. If you don't have a teacup handy, use a regular cup and fill it about 3/4 full to match the quantity. 2. Handful. This typically means whatever you can comfortably hold in your hand. 2. For most ingredients, this can be about 1/2 to 1 cup. 3. Pinch. A pinch is a small amount, often about 1/8 of a teaspoon. 3. Use this for spices or salt when the recipe calls for a touch of flavor. Always taste and adjust as you go. The beauty of baking from Grandma's handwritten recipes is that they reflect her personal touch. If you're unsure about a measurement, err on the side of caution and start small. You can always add more, but you can't take it out once it's in. Navigating these handwritten recipes can feel like a puzzle, but with a little patience and creativity, you'll uncover the delicious traditions hidden in those pages. Remember, cooking is about experimenting and finding what works best for you while keeping the spirit of those recipes alive. Gathering necessary ingredients and tools. Starting your holiday baking adventure the right way is key to avoiding mishaps, especially when the recipe is in Grandma's loving handwriting. Gathering all ingredients and tools before you begin is crucial. This practice helps create a smooth baking process and minimizes interruptions that can lead to mistakes. So let's dive into how to make sure you have everything you need for a successful baking session. Checking ingredient freshness. Before measuring out flour or beating eggs, it's essential to check the freshness of all your ingredients. No one wants to bite into a cookie only to discover that the baking powder was expired or the butter was rancid. Here's why ingredient freshness matters. 1. Expiration dates. Always look for expiration dates on packaged items like flour, sugar, and leavening agents. 1. Over time, these ingredients lose their potency. 1. For example, baking powder that's too old won't help your cookies rise. 2. Smell and feel. Trust your senses. 2. If something smells off or feels different than usual, it's better to err on the side of caution. 2. For example, if your flour has a musty smell, it's time to replace it. 3. Storage conditions. Consider how you store your ingredients. 3. Items kept in a cool, dry place tend to last longer. 3. If you suspect an ingredient has been exposed to moisture or heat, check its quality before using it. Taking these steps ensures your baked goods turn out as delicious as they should. Fresh ingredients are the secret ingredient to success. Preparing the right baking equipment. Once you have confirmed your ingredients are fresh, it's time to gather your baking tools. Using the right equipment will prevent many common baking disasters. Here's a list of essential baking tools and their roles. 1. Measuring cups and spoons. Accurate measurements are the foundation of any successful recipe. 1. Using the wrong quantities can lead to flat cookies or overly dense cakes. 2. Mixing bowls. You'll need a variety of bowls for different tasks. 2. A large bowl for mixing batter, smaller ones for separating eggs or combining dry ingredients, make for a smooth workflow. 3. Baking sheets. The right baking sheets can make or break your baked goods. 3. Non-stick sheets promise even cooking, while parchment paper prevents sticking and makes for easy cleanup. 4. Electric mixer or whisk. Some recipes call for heavy mixing to incorporate air. 4. An electric mixer works wonders here, but in a pinch, a whisk and some elbow grease will do the trick. 5. Spatula and wooden spoon. These tools are essential for folding mixtures, scraping down sides, and even portioning your dough onto baking sheets. Being fully prepared with the right tools allows you to focus on creating instead of scrambling to find what you need. So gather everything ahead of time, and you'll find the baking process flows much more smoothly. Happy baking! Conducting a test run. Before you dive into holiday baking with Grandma's cherished recipe, conducting a test run is essential. This practice can help you spot potential issues, save ingredients, and boost your confidence. Think of it as a rehearsal before the big show. When you know what to expect, you're less likely to face a disaster when it counts. Baking in smaller portions. A smart way to start your test run is by baking in smaller portions. Instead of making a full batch of cookies or pie, consider preparing just a half or even a quarter of the recipe. Here's why this method works wonders. 1. Minimize waste. If something goes wrong, you won't waste a whole batch. 1. A few cookies that flop are much easier to manage than dozens. 2. Easier adjustments. You have room to experiment. 2. If you believe the recipe could use a little more sugar or a dash of spice, you can adjust without fear of ruining everything. 3. Time efficient. Smaller batches bake faster, allowing you to test multiple variations quickly. This strategy assures that even if you hit a snag, it won't ruin your holiday baking plans. Documenting changes and observations. As you conduct your test run, take the time to document every change and observation. This step is crucial, as it creates a record you can refer back to later. Here's how to effectively track your baking journey. 1. Write it down. Keep a notebook or digital document handy. 1. Note everything from ingredient measurements to baking times. 2. Note what works. If you notice that less baking time or an extra teaspoon of vanilla made a difference, write it down. 3. Learn from crashes. If a batch flops, jot down what you think went wrong. 3. Did the oven temperature seem off? 3. Did the dough feel too dry? 3. This information is valuable for your next attempt. Documenting these details helps you create a better baking experience not just for yourself, but also as a way to preserve Grandma's recipe for future generations. Plus, it brings peace of mind, knowing you can replicate your successful results when the holidays arrive. Common holiday baking problems and solutions. Baking during the holidays can be a joyful experience, but it often comes with its fair share of challenges. Grandma's handwritten recipes may have a special place in your heart, but they can also lead to confusion or even disaster in the kitchen. By understanding common holiday baking problems, you can avoid mishaps and ensure your treats turn out just right. Here are some frequent issues and practical solutions to keep your baking on track. Over-mixing batter. Over-mixing your batter can lead to dense, tough baked goods. When you combine ingredients, gluten develops. While a certain amount of gluten is necessary for texture, too much can ruin your results. You want fluffy cupcakes, not hockey pucks. To avoid overmixing, consider these tips. 1. Mix until just combined. Blend ingredients until you no longer see dry flour. 1. Stop as soon as the batter is smooth. 2. Use a gentle hand. Stir slowly and avoid vigorous whipping. 2. This method keeps your baked goods light and airy. 3. Scrape the bowl. If a recipe calls for adding dry ingredients to wet ones, scrape down the bowl often to ensure even mixing without overdoing it. Incorrect oven temperature. An oven that runs too hot or too cool can throw off your baking success. If your cookies burn while your cake stays raw, it's time to check your oven temperature. To ensure your oven is accurate, here's how to do it. 1. Use an oven thermometer. Place a thermometer inside your oven to monitor its real temperature. 1. This cheap tool can save your baked goods from an early demise. 2. Adjust baking times. If your oven runs hot, you may need to reduce the baking time. 2. Conversely, a cooler oven requires longer baking. 3. Rotate your pans. Hot spots often exist in ovens. 3. Halfway through baking, rotate your pans to ensure even cooking. Baking times and doneness. Determining when baked goods are done can sometimes feel like a guessing game. Relying solely on a timer can lead to overbaking or underbaking. Instead, look for visual cues and tests to guide you. Here's what to keep an eye on. 1. Visual cues. Look for golden brown edges or a slight puffiness in your baked goods. 1. These are usually good signs that they are ready. 2. The toothpick test. Insert a toothpick into the center of cakes and muffins. 2. If it comes out clean or with a few moist crumbs, they are done. 2. If it's wet, give them a little more time. 3. Time and temperature. Remember, different recipes may require different doneness cues. 3. Always check the specific recipe for guidance. With these pointers in mind, you can tackle holiday baking with confidence and enjoy the sweet rewards of your efforts. Creating a backup plan. When tackling Grandma's cherished baking recipes, the last thing anyone wants is a disaster. However, mistakes can happen, and having a backup plan in place ensures you're ready for anything. A simple alternative recipe can save the day and keep holiday spirits high, even if the original plan crumbles. Preparing for mishaps can turn potential chaos into an opportunity to create something new and delightful. Easy substitute recipes. Having a few easy substitute recipes handy can be a lifesaver when a baking project doesn't go as planned. Here are some simple alternatives for common baked goods that will keep the joy of baking intact. 1. Pancakes. If your pancake batter ends up too runny, switch to a quick mix of 1 cup flour, 1 tablespoon sugar, 1 tablespoon baking powder, a pinch of salt, and 1 cup milk mixed with an egg. 1. If someone requests gluten-free options, combine 1 cup gluten-free flour blend and 1 cup milk instead. 2. Brownies. Instead of the classic brownie recipe, try mixing 1 cup of peanut butter, 1 cup of sugar, and 2 eggs for a quick, gluten-free treat. 2. These brownies are chewy and delicious, perfect for those with dietary restrictions. 3. Cookies. When you find your cookie dough too thick to work with, give these a try. Mix 1 cup of peanut butter, 1 cup of sugar, and an egg. 3. Spoon them onto a baking sheet, and you'll have magically quick cookies that everyone will love. 4. Muffins. If your muffin recipe goes south due to missing baking powder, blend 1 cup yogurt with 1 teaspoon baking soda instead. 4. This substitute not only saves time but also adds a tangy flavor to your muffins. 5. Cake. If your cake batter isn't rising, use 1 cup of self-rising flour instead of all-purpose flour. 5. It's an easy fix that can turn a flop into a delicious treat. Having these simple substitute recipes will help you navigate through any holiday baking hiccup. The key is to stay calm and remember that every recipe has room for a little flexibility. So, keep these backups in hand and enjoy the sweet memories you create along the way. Engaging family in the baking process. Baking during the holidays can be a delightful experience, especially when you make it a family affair. Involving family members not only eases the workload but also adds joy to the process. Here's how you can bring everyone together and ensure that your baking experience is memorable. Sharing responsibilities. When it comes to baking, teamwork makes everything easier. Dividing tasks among family members allows you to finish faster and with less stress. Assigning specific roles helps everyone feel more involved and valued. Here are a few ways to share responsibilities. 1. Divide and conquer. Look at your recipe and break it down into parts. 1. Maybe one person can handle measuring ingredients while another mixes them together. 1. It helps to have a designated person for decorating once the baking is done. 2. Set a schedule. Establish a timeline for each task. 2. Knowing who's doing what and when helps everyone stay on track. 2. Plus, it makes for less chaos in the kitchen. 3. Encourage learning. For younger family members, baking is a great opportunity to learn. 3. Teach them how to read the recipe or show them how to use kitchen tools. 3. This not only makes the baking process smoother but also passes on valuable skills. Working together brings a sense of accomplishment that everyone can enjoy. You might even find that certain family members have hidden talents in the kitchen. Creating a festive atmosphere. Baking isn't just about making delicious treats, it's about creating memories. Transforming your baking session into a festive occasion can enhance the experience for everyone involved. Here are some ideas to consider. 1. Play some music. Create a fun playlist to get everyone in the holiday spirit. 1. Singing along while measuring flour can turn a mundane task into a joyful celebration. 2. Set up a decoration station. The finishing touches can be just as fun as the baking itself. 2. Set up a decoration area where family members can unleash their creativity with frosting, sprinkles, and edible glitter. 3. Share stories and traditions. Use this time to reminisce about past baking experiences or share stories about the recipes you're making. 3. These conversations create a deeper connection to your family's baking legacy. 4. Capture the moments. Don't forget to take pictures. 4. Document the process by snapping photos along the way. 4. These memories will be fun to look back on during future family gatherings. By creating a festive atmosphere, you turn baking from a task into a cherished holiday tradition. Watching everyone enjoy the process makes all the hard work worth it, and the end result is often a treat that tastes even better when made with love together. Conclusion. Baking from Grandma's cherished recipes can be an enriching experience filled with nostalgia, but it does come with its own set of challenges. By carefully interpreting those handwritten notes, understanding ingredient measurements, and preparing your kitchen ahead of time, you can avoid many common disasters. Don't shy away from asking for help or seeking out resources to clarify any uncertainties. Remember, the joy of baking lies not just in the final product but also in the memories created along the way. As you gather around the holiday table, savor not just the treats but also the stories and love shared in each bite. What recipes will you revive this season? Your kitchen awaits!